Hello, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's your boy 47, and today we are doing something apart from Crunker. Now, as you all know, in Crunker right now there's a bit of a hacker thing going on, so it's kind of hard for me to actually make content on the game. So, because of this, I decided, you know what, let's switch things up. So everyone knows, really, if you're watching my channel, or if you have been watching for a while, or if you're my streams or anything, you know that I'm Irish, alright? And all you have to do is look up Irish on YouTube, and you see loads of people reacting to Ireland and like to Irish stuff. And I came across this one video, right? And it was by Vanity Fair, and it said Niall Horan teaches you Irish slang, right? So I thought it'd be really funny to just look at this video and actually react to it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to teach you some Irish slang, and I'm going to put my own spin in it, because if you guys don't realise, in Ireland, a lot of words mean different things depending on what side of the country you are and stuff like that. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Alright, so first of all, basically there's a thing that everyone thinks that everyone in Ireland knows each other, and it's actually kind of funny because I don't actually know him personally. I know a lot of people who do actually know him, which is kind of crazy, but literally probably one of the biggest Irish pop stars is Niall Horan.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of this.
Okay, right, so, sham, right, basically, it's kind of a greeting you'd use for people, so you'd say like, oh, well, sham, what's going on, what's the crack, sham, that kind of a thing, you know what I mean? So I guess kind of the best way to put it would be like, oh, well, bud, or something like that. Something along them lines, well, sham. You could kind of call someone like an absolute, you know, someone who's full of themselves, like, ah, he's some sham over there, so he is, you know what I mean? Something like that. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Sham is a word that you would use in a greeting. It's like bud or pal or whatever. You go, alright, Sham.
Another word I like to use is plonker, like an absolute fucking plonker, you know what I mean? Something like that, along them lines.
Number 2, banjacks.
If you guys are from anywhere other than Ireland, this word looks completely made up to you, I'd say. But it basically means, like, if something's broken, say if my phone was banjaxed. You know, it means that my phone is broken, it has cracks in it or something, it's banjaxed. That kind of way. Or it could also mean, like, if you're feeling really down, if you're, like, really tired, I guess, you could say you're banjaxed. You know, like, oh, jizz, lad, I'm absolutely banjaxed. Or if you're out of your head drunk as well, you can also use it, I'm banjaxed. So it actually has a lot of meanings. Now that I think about it. But probably the best one, which is used more often, is broken, is probably the best thing.
I guess the real definition would be broken down. Like if a car was pulled over on the side of the road and its tire was hanging off, you'd say that car is banjaxed. Gammy.
Now, gammy, right? So gammy is basically something that's, you know, it doesn't work 100%. It's kind of on edge to working, you know, but it just it's not really getting there. That type of thing. So if something's gammy, let me see. If you have like a gammy button on your keyboard, you know, you can press it down, but it doesn't do anything until you absolutely, you know, bend the shit out of it. You know what I mean? It's a gammy key on a keyboard, or something gammy, yeah. It's like, it doesn't work to 100%.
Bogger. I am a bogger.
It's basically anyone who doesn't live in Dublin. Dublin is the capital of Ireland, so it's anyone who doesn't live there. It's basically a bogger. It's like, well, according to Dublin people it is anyway. But if you go further out the country, you know, people from the west of Ireland are boggers compared to the rest of people. Like, the best word you probably use is like a culchie, or an ag lad, or an agri lad, you know what I mean? Like agriculture. That's kind of bogger, because a lot of Ireland, if you guys don't, obviously you guys probably don't know about the geography of Ireland if you're from like American stuff, but basically it's a lot of bogland in Ireland. It's like, if you can foot turf, I don't know if you call it a bog everywhere else, but yeah, so basically everywhere else in Ireland is covered with bogland, and everyone in Dublin just rips the piss out of people. So that's basically the best way to describe it. Like, when you go to the rural parts of Ireland and you see someone, it's only the people who are very agricultural, like people who live on farms and stuff, that called culchie. But if you go to Dublin, anyone who is not from Dublin is a bogger or a culchie.
If you're from Dublin, you think that Dublin is the only place that exists in Ireland. Flute.
Right, so there's two meanings for this. It's someone who's, you know, another word I like to use is gobshite. Gobshite, which basically means, like, you know, they're a bit stupid in the head. You know, you're a flute, lad. You're an absolute flute, so you are. But another meaning is actually a, you know, a penis. So that's what a flute is. So I kind of think that the main reason, like the main meaning behind it is that it's actually a penis, and you're just calling a lad like a knob, you know what I mean? Like, that's probably the best way to put it in, like, for English slang, you know what I mean? A knob is kind of the same thing as your flute, you know? So you're calling someone a knob, you call someone a flute, that kind of way, like, yo lad, you're some flute, so you are.
Hape, there's two ways to say it, hape or heap, depending on where you're from in Ireland.
Alright, a hape, right? So you would say, it basically means a lot of something, or like a load of something. So like, jeez lad, there's a heap of stuff on the back of my trailer, that kind of thing, or something like that, you know. It just means that there's a lot of something, you know what I mean? But no, like, everyone would call it a heap. Like, I guess the more, like I was saying, bringing it back to that bogger thing, if you're from the very west of Ireland, you'd probably call it a heap or something. And if you're from, you know, going anywhere other than the west of Ireland kind of a thing, you'd probably call it a heap. Like
Boyo. Boyo kind of like, you know, when you see the English people, they got lads, lads, lads. Like, do all that. Well, our version of that is the boyos.
That's basically just like a lad, you know? So, like, a dude. That's basically all I can take from it. Like, oh, jeez, that's some boy over there. That lad is really good at what he does. That kind of way. Like, oh, jeez, he's some boyo for a pint. You know, that kind of way.
Cod. It's basically to kind of like tell someone a lie.
Cod. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, it's not just a fish, 40, isn't it? But no, cod means, you know, to take the piss. So, like, you probably don't know what that means either. It's basically like a joke. So, you know, just lad, you're codding me. If someone says something that you're displeased with, you'll say, just lad, you're codding me. You're codding me. Like, you know, that can't be real. That kind of thing. Or I guess, like I said before, the best probably way to put it is like, you know, lad, you're taking the piss. You're taking the piss. You're codding. That kind of a way, like to pull a joke kind of a thing. Like, another word that you could probably use on top of that is probably like fib. You're pulling a fib, you know what I mean? Like, it's a fairy tale, kind of a lie kind of a thing, you know?
You'd say something sarcastic, they'd go, really? And then you go, I'm only codding you. And that's how you would use it. Donkey's ears. This is a good one. One of my favorite Americanisms is, oh my God, I haven't seen you in like a minute. It's been a minute. We would say, Jesus, it's been donkey's years.
Alright, donkey's years, that just means, you know, a long time. Basically, there's no other way to put it. Like, just it takes donkey's years for that lad to come out of the house, down to the pub. That kind of way. Just donkey years, just a very long amount of time. I guess it probably comes because donkeys are slow. I guess maybe. Like, do donkeys age slower than people or something? Is it like dogs? I don't know. But basically, that's it. It's a long time.
Dosser, another word for that. The other word we would use is messer. A dosser, just someone that kind of dosses, like, doesn't really do much work, is a bit of a lazy person.
Dosser! Basically, like I was saying about, lad, you're taking the piss, that kind of thing. This is basically just, the lad that takes the piss. Sham, you're only a dosser, so you are. You know, like someone who doesn't turn up to work on time, you know, when he does, he's only messing about the spot. You know what I mean? That's kind of what a dosser is. So, you know, like, lad, you're only a dosser. Get out with me, say, you're only a dosser. You know, you call someone, if you're in school, someone who's messing in school, you be the dosser, you know? So it's basically, you know, a codder. You call them a codder at the same time as you call them a dosser. The person who partakes in the codding is a dosser. That's the dictionary term behind it.
Egypt. It basically means you're a fool, you're an idiot. I get that a lot. Yeah, that's a word, that's a common Irish word said in most sentences.
A lot of people, majority of people would say Egypt, right? But if you're kind of the older generation, that kind of thing, you'd hear some people say egot, right? You're an egot, so you are. But like, it's kind of transformed. The word is transformed into Egypt. I would personally say you're an egot, so you are. That's what I say. But I don't know if that's a regional thing or it's an older thing. I'm fairly certain it's just if you're older, you know, you'd call someone an egot rather than an Egypt. But it basically means someone who's a bollocks. But you probably don't know what that means either. So someone who is the brightest, you know, he doesn't have all the tools in the toolbox, that kind of way, you know. He's missing a few light bulbs.
Jacks. The jacks is another word for the restroom.
The jacks, so it's basically just the toilets. That's it. The toilet. The water closet, you know, if you want to go all fancy, you know, the WC, you know. No, the jacks. So I said, people would be asking me on the stream, I'd say like, oh yeah, I'm going to the loo. People would be like, where on earth is that like going? Like, the loo, the jacks, it's all going to the toilet, you know what I mean? Like,
how's she cutting? How's she cutting means, like, how are things?
How's she cutting? How are you? What's the crack? How's it going? You know, well, you probably don't know what the crack is either. The crack is basically, I guess, I've been reacting, well, I haven't been reacting, but I've been looking up a lot of these Irish videos, you know, trying to make a video. Basically, a lot of people describe crack as, you know, fun, I guess is probably the best way to put it. But like, how's she cutting? How are you getting on, you know? How's she cutting, lad?
Owl fella basically means old man. Owl one, old woman. My owl one, my mother. I mean, how derogatory is this?
Owl fella and owl one. I gotta put these two together. They're right after each other. It basically means, you know, owl lad, owl man, and owl one is an old woman. Like, my owl one would be me mammy. You know what I mean? That kind of way, me mother. And like the owl lad would be me father. So you know that owl fella down the street. You know, that kind of way. He'd be the old lad. So owl is basically old, and fella is man. And then one, so like, you know, I'd say you're one. So that'd be that woman. Or something, something along them lines.
Sucking diesel. I'm glad you took out the G. Sucking diesel is kind of like, now you have it. Like if you're struggling with something, and then you get it, and then someone would say, oh, now you're sucking diesel.
Sucking diesel. Oh, jizz, she's sucking diesel, so she's going great, nothing can stop him. Oh, jizz, you're sucking diesel now, you're on the way, you're set. That's kind of what that means, you know? You're on the dog's bollocks. That's another way, that's another thing you can say as well. You're on the dog's bollocks, so you're ready to go, you're set, you're raring, so you're raring to go. You're sucking diesel, lad, you're sucking diesel.
Tick. So I would say tick, which means angry. So if someone was getting angry at me, I'd say, why are you getting tick? Or if they didn't take it, if they took a joke of mine too serious, but I don't get tick about it.
It basically means you're mad, you're angry, or you know, he has a thick look, he has a thick head in him, you know, that kind of way. So he's looking very angry, so he is. Or, geez, your man is in tick humor, so he is now today. That means he's like, you know, today he's been pretty mad, so he is. He's not been in a good mood, and he's in a tick humor.
So this has been Irish Slang on Vanity Fair with me.
That had a shocked S. Don't really know how to say 47s in Irish, but I know how to say 47. So you're gonna have to take that. And I guess I'll leave you now. Good luck. Peace.
All the pain.